SQL Tran automatically detects limitations in its own translation capabilities. So, of course, we will always have certain functionality gap between source and target database because they are of a different architecture. So there is in general case no way to have 100% perfect translation using any tooling or even doing it completely manually. At some point, for the hard cases, you need to change the logic completely to achieve the same goal in a completely different way, maybe even moving some logic outside of the database. However, the ability of SQL Tran to emulate whatever it can and to detect what it cannot successfully emulate is, of course, extremely useful to narrow the problematic area. So let's see first what we see in the overview screen, and then we'll investigate a bit more. So here, for this demo database, we have 24 error types. Now we see that we have 12 occurrences of scalar functions. If you go into the workspace here and look at the functions, we have 13 functions and 12 of them are scalar. So that's what we're talking about here. Then we have 8 XML methods and recursive queries and certain object types like hierarchy ID, calling, get answer store method. We have SQL variants and so on. Now, this list is nicely grouped so we can easily see where our problems are. So we can see that, yes, at this day, Fabric still does not support scalar functions, but I know that functionality is coming soon. As soon as that happens, our translation percentage will instantly jump up. Okay, and how do we generally work with such errors? We go into the workspace, which is a screen where we're going to spend most of our time in the project, and click the errors tab. So we have 24 different groups here. Most of them are scalar functions. So let's see how do we actually show that limitation. We see the source, we see the target here, and then we prepend a comment SQL Tran Fabric limitation saying, okay, that's scalar function. So that's going to happen for all scalar functions here. And then we have code where we have XML method. So we're going to detect that as well. We have recursive queries. So you'll see here that, yes, we have detected this is recursive query. We'll also detect multiple incompatible things. Like, for example, calling get ancestor in the code. There is also option max recursion, which will actually comment out. And whenever we go through the code, we'll try to do all the emulations we can. If after all the emulations there are still some limitations that have remained, then we flag that object as having an error in translation, and we prepend those things here. That's all there is, and depending, of course, on the exact code bases that you're working with, we may get to 99.9% of successful translation, or we can get, as low as 80%. And this depends solely on the source and target database type and on the code constructs your team or your customer's team uses.